we are a bit short on time, but I have Pa Eko still to come for a final presentation for this session. Are there questions so far? Raise a hand. Or is the question for a break? Because I will take the questions in the next session that is moderated with Pa Dimas of IAP, and then we bundle them together. And then we wrap up this session with the presentation of Dr. Eko Budi Kurniawan, the Director of National Spatial Planning of the Ministry of Agrarian Affairs and Spatial Planning of the National Land Agency, one of the key planning policy makers here in the country. So very appropriate that you close off this first dialogue. Looking forward to that, and then again, also with this comes my great thank you for really at the very first discussion of having this SPP conference here, that you and your Director General Pa Gabriel were so enthusiastic about it. So very glad to offer you the last but most important spot of this first session.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. You know, in Indonesia, this is a good time actually to sleep. So I hope you are not sleepy. Okay, friends, colleagues, I'd like to convey the message from my Director General, Pa Gabriel, mentioned by Pa Bruno. He's actually the one who wanted to come here, but he's sorry. He apologized because he couldn't attend this meeting. But it also shows you with our minister coming and open this event, and also my Director General wanted to come by himself. It shows how important this event is for us. So again, I thank you for you coming to this event. My friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually the second time I came to the SPP conference. Yeah, the first time is the first conference. The first time I met Pa Bruno as well I think in the lunch meeting by the time. Yeah, lunch. So I'm proud and feel honored to be here again. And yes, I thank you for UN Habitat and MLIT and all of you who make this happen. Please, next. I would like to use this one, but I'm afraid it doesn't work. So, okay, please, next. Next, please. Next, please. Okay. Friends and colleagues, our minister have also introduced you with the problems of Indonesian spatial planning and also the system, the hierarchy itself. And this one? Yes, the first and the most famous, I think, the problem of spatial planning in Indonesia and on regional development in Indonesia is the regional inequality, the imbalanced development between regions, between islands, between the western part of Indonesia and eastern part of Indonesia, between the island of Java, which covers only 7% of the total size of the country, but contribute more than 50% to the national GDP. So you can imagine if you are a geographer, planner, or geodetic engineer who love to make maps, you can imagine how difficult to make the statistical map for Indonesia because of the extreme gap of development between island and region in Indonesia. Please next. Okay. And also the second problems that I would like to show you is about the rapid urbanization. Just like in any other country in the world, I think, yeah, especially in the developing countries. Right now, the population who live in urban areas in Indonesia is more than 50% living in urban areas. You can see, especially in the metropolitan areas. You can see this is the Jakarta metropolitan area. In 2023, it's much larger. Yeah. And it, of course, just as other previous speakers mentioned, their experience in their own country, this is also the problem of infrastructure. You can see on the yellow map, yeah, that's the growing population and areas, urban areas in Jakarta metropolitan areas. The public transportation doesn't cover all of the areas. Yeah. Even though we actually trying to improve the situation, but yeah, we still trying step by step. Yeah. The picture over there show you the level of traffic congestion. Yeah. Not always, and not all of the street like that. Yeah, but that can happen in some streets during the peak hours. Yeah. And also other urban infrastructure problems, yeah, like solid waste management, etc. Next. To give you some ideas about how big Indonesia is, I think in the opening of our minister, it also shows you that Indonesia is the width or the length of Indonesia, the size of Indonesia is comparable to the distance between London and Istanbul. Quite big actually. Of course, not as big as India or China or even United States, yeah, plus Alaska and Hawaii, but it is quite big. To give you some ideas, perhaps, the island of Kalimantan over here. Over there is as big. The size is as big as France. In Java, the westernmost of province, West Java province, is as big as the Netherlands. So this is quite big, even though not as big as India and China. You can imagine with this, the biggest archipelago, yeah, the biggest archipelagic country in the world, yeah, the location of leading commodities is also widespread. Of course, in this case, infrastructure, the connectivity, the transportation is very important for us. Next, please. Friends, colleagues, as we also understand that development, economic growth always goes side by side with energy, with the electricity. The electricity demand for Indonesia, in Indonesia, actually is shifting. Yeah. This is also shows the progress of Indonesia actually, yeah, shifting from in 2021, almost half of the demand coming from household, but the projection for 2032, the manufacturing will demand almost about 50%, and transportation almost about 20%. And also the shifting of demands happens from the western part of Indonesia, the most developed one, to the eastern part of Indonesia. This is also in line with our policy, spatial planning policies, that we try to move. Yeah, we we support the development of metropolitan city outside of Java Island, more in the eastern part of Indonesia. We try to move some of the priority infrastructure. Yeah, Bu Marcia already mentioned about national strategic projects. Yeah, that's also to eastern part of Indonesia. So this is, I hope this works. Yeah. Next. Well, ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, yeah, I'm sure that you already ever heard about the disaster which happens in Indonesia, yeah. The tsunami in Aceh. The biggest one, I think, last time is in Palu, yeah, in the city of Palu. It's a quite big city actually. It's the capital of a province in Sulawesi. Yeah. Liquefaction. I know that Japan has some liquefaction problems, yeah, but the damage, the loss of life, the asset damage, etc. I think Palu is the biggest one in the world. Yeah. So that's only one of the problem we have. Here we can show you the multi-disaster index map. Yeah. Which one is high, which one is low. Yeah. You can see, so please friends, you are safe, yeah, here. Because this is in Kalimantan. Yeah. Mostly low, yeah, mostly low, the risk, yeah. So please don't be afraid. Next, please. Next, okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our minister, yeah, Pak Menteri, has already show you the national spatial plan, yeah, hierarchy, etc., the system. Yeah. So I would like to show you mostly focus on the how the regional development, the infrastructure development will support the economic growth of the regions in Indonesia through spatial planning, of course. And here, as I already mentioned to you, that Indonesia is quite big. But this is also archipelagic country. Yeah. So the connectivity between islands is of course important. Yeah. During the Dutch Netherlands Indies, during the colonization of the Dutch, yeah, to Indonesia, they already set up the network of shipping. Yeah. And also today we have a lot of network of shipping and also flights. Yeah. I would love to show you the numbers of new airports and new renovated airport. Yeah. And also about the beauty of Indonesian landscape, yeah, just like our colleagues from Bhutan show, and also from Kenya. Yeah. But I'm afraid that I have a copyright issue about that, so I cancel to show you. But you can see when you come in here to the airport of Balikpapan, you can see this new renovated airport. Yeah. And we have a lot of that. Yeah. So shortly, I would say that we are really understand the importance of connectivity for our country. Next. Yes, friends, colleagues, I'm sure that we are most of us as planners. Yeah, I'm myself planners based on my education and also my experience. Yeah. And we understand that in terms of regional planning, that we need to do is to connect the urban centers and growth centers to the hinterlands through infrastructure, transportation, and also the support of infrastructure. So this is also the strategy that we use, using spatial planning. And I'm not sure if it's really it's clear enough for you. I'm sorry if it's not clear enough, but here you can see the industrial zone, the special economic zone mentioned by Bu Marcia, and also some other infrastructure, yeah, airport, etc., toll road, etc. And we have a strategy, we call it as a development, and I'm not sure how I can translate it into English. Yeah. Equality corridors, development corridors, and redistribution or equality corridors. In short, the corridor that we need to push the potential region, the potentially economic region, to grow faster. And another one is the corridor that we like to push it to help the poorest region. Yeah. The red one actually is the corridor for growth, and the gray one is corridor for equality. So we connect the urban center, growth center, industrial center, etc., with hinterlands, between islands, etc., and using the concept of corridor. Next, please. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, Indonesia, I have to be honest to you that I think Indonesia is quite lucky for energy development. Yeah. We have a lot of sources of energy, hydro energy, wind, biogas, biomass, biofuel, mini hydro, micro hydro, geothermal, solar, and also we are starting a few years ago converting from waste to energy. This is the policy that we'd like to use to solve the problem of waste, solid waste, urban infrastructure problem, and also at the same time the problem of energy. Friends, Indonesia National Spatial Plan actually is under revision right now. Yeah. Still under revision right now. The last one we have has been revived partly in 2017, but we think that we need to revise a lot of it, yeah, because a lot of development happens, and they are not included in the National Spatial Plan. So that's why I still cannot show you the integration of between the renewable energy with the growth center, hinterlands, poorest region, etc., yeah, and other infrastructure. Next. Since the timekeeper has already informed me that it is almost finished, I will try to present it fast to you. In Indonesia, for the National Spatial Planning, we have National Spatial Plan, and we have also Island Spatial Plan. Because our island is also big. Yeah. Kalimantan is as big as France. Yeah. I think Sumatra and Java is as big as Hokkaido, Honshu, and Kyushu. Yeah. So our island is big. So that's why we think that it needs special attention. It needs to be planned spatially in order to implement the National Spatial Plan with more detailed spatial plan. Yeah. So this is, for example, this is the spatial plan for Kalimantan, the one we stand right now, or sit right now. Yeah. You can see we have a national border area on the north. Yeah. This is with Malaysia. You can also see we have Nusantara National Capital, new national capital, and also some cities along the coastal road. Friends, if you see in this island of Kalimantan, yeah, this is also happened in other islands in Indonesia. Yeah. Most of the cities are on the coastal. Yeah. This is historically since long time ago. Yeah. This is in line with the maritime trade route. From Pontianak over here in the west side to Banjarmasin, it becomes metropolitan right now, metropolitan Banjarbakula. And then Balikpapan, we are here in Balikpapan until the upper side. Yeah, this is according to maritime road. Why maritime road? Why? Because the wave is not so dynamic. Yeah. It's almost finished. Yeah, the wave is not that high, yeah. So it is safer to do maritime trading along of this route. Yeah. And on the center, it's the heart of Borneo. It's the forest. Yeah. So that's why there's no city developed over there. Yeah. So if you'd like to know more about the development or spatial planning of Kalimantan, yeah, in the national border, this is national border areas, and this is also we have spatial planning, especially focused on defense and security. Yeah. And also we have metropolitan. This is more about polycentric development. We use the concept of polycentric development because this is the Nusantara, Balikpapan, and Samarinda. Samarinda is the capital city of this province, yeah, is Kalimantan province. So this will become a large city as well. Yeah. This is three urban centers will be together as the growth center in East Kalimantan, one of the growth centers in Kalimantan. Here here along the border, we prepare the detailed spatial plan. The only detailed spatial plan prepared by the central government. The other detailed spatial plan prepared by the local government. So this is prepared by the national government because we think that defense and security is the problem of national government, not the local government. The connectivities also, I would love to show you for the next, please. Yeah. This is Sulawesi, another island next to Kalimantan. You can see that this is more of the connectivities between island. Yeah. Sulawesi is the one who support to Kalimantan, including the new national capital, the agriculture product, yeah, including cattle, rice, etc. Yeah. This is from Sulawesi. Yeah. And the development of two metropolitan areas, Makassar in the south and Manado in the north, is also make it balanced development for the island. And this is historically always be the center of development of eastern part of Indonesia. Yeah. This is the Papua island over here, if you like to see. Yeah. The Papua island, they have minerals and raw materials. They send it to Makassar, yeah, because this is a lot of manufacturing industry here, and then to Java, here to Java Island. And from Sulawesi, they send the agricultural product also to Papua. Yeah. The connectivity, of course, is must, and we strengthen it, develop it in the spatial planning of each island, yeah, beside the national spatial planning. Next. Okay, next. This is actually the samples of sebelumnya dong. How we prepare the spatial plan, especially for the border area, yeah. And how we use the concept of the integration between the aspect of security and defense and security, and the aspects of prosperity and sustainability, because a lot of border areas located in the environmentally or forest or protected areas. Yeah. So the sustainability aspect is important, but most of the border areas is located far from national urban center. For example, in Kalimantan, it is closer to Malaysian, yeah, to Sarawak and to Kuching, I think. Yeah. So the connectivity, the integration with the global economy, with the neighboring countries is also important, just as our previous speakers say about their own country and spatial planning. Next. Next. This is, before ending this presentation, I'd like to show you, because this is focusing on economic growth and how the metropolitan areas in Indonesia actually contribute a lot on economic growth. And it needs spatial planning, so the contribution doesn't decline. Yeah. Here you can see Jakarta metropolitan area itself contribute almost 25% to the national economy. the total of the metropolitan is 43.5%, almost 45%. Of course, it might not be as big as the contribution of Bangkok, for example, but it is quite significant in case of Indonesia. And it is outside of the other urban areas. We still have a lot of other urban areas besides this 10 metropolitan development. Next, please. And this is the example of how we prepare the spatial plan for metropolitan areas. Our metropolitan areas consist of a lot of local governments, 4, 5, 6 local governments. The integration, the coordination, the synchronization, whatever you call it, about the spatial plan, about the program. Also, it needs to be coordinated between, not only between the local government, but also between the central government and the local government, and between the local government. And this is the Medan, this is the city of Medan, in North Sumatra. Here, we look at the plan of the new industrial estate development, urban center development, new settlement development, there are new airport, and this is also new big industrial estate in North Sumatra, it's called Semangke, with also the big port over here. And the concept of metropolitan spatial planning in Indonesia, we also include the protected areas here, because we think that this is also as much as important for central government to protect the protected areas, like the hilly one, the forest one, the plantation ones, the regions who protect the land below them from flood, etc. Next. Okay, next. This is the last thing I'd like to present to you, that how in Indonesia do we try to implement and monitor the spatial planning. Making a planning without being able to implement it is, of course, waste of time. So we have the regulation that all the activities from private investment until the government infrastructure development, for example, need to be in conformity with spatial planning. And in order to do that, they have to have the planning permission. Planning permission. In Indonesia, we call it KKPR, but this is too long to remember. Even to translate it into English. This is, I think, spatial planning conformity activities, something like that. So let's say it's planning permission. And the investors, in order to have investment permit, they need to apply for planning permission first. And this planning permission is issued based on detailed spatial plan. So that's why during the opening of this conference, our minister mentioned about the progress of preparing detailed spatial plan. Because detailed spatial plan now is very important to give the planning permission. Yes, it used to be a planning permission, but it's not digitalized, and it's only regionally issued. Right now, it's the central government also issued the investment, which is we consider very important, giving a big impact to the development of the country. And this, with the online single submission, the potential investor just open their laptop, connect to the internet, open the website, and they can apply there. And if they require the documents, they complete the required documents, the planning permission issued only within 1 day. It's free. They don't have to interact with government employee, so it reduces the potential of corruption. It's fast. But again, it requires the complete detailed spatial plan for at least for the important regions, potential investment region in Indonesia. And by applying this one, our country, I think the ease of business in Indonesia have improved. Yeah. The rank in 2016, for example, is we ranked 109, and now we rank 73rd. Yeah. And then also the increasing of permits, yeah, because of this. Next. This is the importance of digitalization. This is not easy because our country is big. A lot of, even internet doesn't cover all of the areas of Indonesia still, until today, yeah. And the transportation, of course, etc. Yeah. So by doing digitalization, right now, if you open, this is gistaru.atrbpn.go.id, yeah, everybody can have an access to the spatial plan, all level of spatial plan in Indonesia, yeah, for free. And also the planning permission, we also put the data for planning permission, etc. here. So this is the example, yeah, about the Regency spatial plan, I think, or it's Kalimantan. Yeah, so this is digitalization, our progress in not only in preparing spatial plan, but also in implementing it and monitoring it. Last one, it is also about organization, about institution. So a lot of local government in Indonesia right now, they establish spatial planning forum. Spatial planning forum consists of not only the government employee of local government, but also the expert, the professional from Indonesian Association of Planners, Pak Andi, the academician, yeah, the professor from universities. They also members of spatial planning forum, and and our government also help them with this is web-based application in order to help local government to prepare the spatial plan. This is the application, web-based application that you can find in the website of our minister. I think that's end my presentation. Again, thank you so much for you, all of you, for coming here, and I hope in the years to come, we can still meet and share our experience in spatial planning. Thank you so much again. I hope you enjoy our hospitality. Thank you.
Thank you, Per Eko, and I'm holding you 2 minutes from the tea break. Just with a quick wrap-up, it was a very important first session on national spatial frameworks and economic infrastructure development and management systems. And we talk about economy, and I'm glad, Per Eko, that you mentioned at the end the importance of making planning work for investment and the smart systems, the digitalization for that. But there is more to it, and that's, I think, that came out of the session. A key issue, and that is also why we are here, Balikpapan, Nusantara, is about regional disparities. Countries are large, countries do not develop equally. We say leave no one and no place behind, but where is the value to be found? And I think at various levels that value, including economic value, came out. It is inside in the tools for metropolitan development, for city region development, for clusters. It's outside the border regions, the blue economy, for sure for a country as Indonesia, but also in Kenya, for instance. But then it also comes out of all the defects that governments can tackle. The government cannot tackle everything, but there are defects that governments can tackle. The system defects on land administration and permit blockages. There was a very nice entry point, I think, from Ibu Marcia. The whole issue of course, of working against the silos, the collaboration, the whole of government approach, of course, the whole of society approach where it matters. Taking on these system effects and making planning work across these defects and building the bridges, I think that comes very clearly out of this experience in the various countries. I think in all the presentations that we heard in this dialogue, and I'm very happy that we got that picture together. I said 2 minutes, it's tea break, and next session we actually will further build on it, and we will make a wrap-up at the end of the day. Thank you.